Hi, guys, and welcome to the You're Not Crazy podcast.
But if you are in good company. Okay, guys. What is this one? Oh, we're
Pet
talking about our
peeves.
pet peeves and fighting words.
Fighting words.
I definitely want to get y'all input on this. Like, y'all need to comment in the comment section and let us know what are some pet peeves and fighting words for you.
Yes.
Have you thought about this? Because I hadn't even had. I know. I was like, we're gonna finish recording. I'll be like, I should have said.
It's gonna come up as we're talking, probably.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. So there's some fighting words that don't affect you until you are like a teacher, or until you are a mom, or until you are a wife. Like, there's certain things that you can say to someone that isn't fighting words until it actually affects you or whatever. Like, I know when people assume like that teachers get 2 months off of work, and I'm just like, because those 2 months that we are off, we are still working. Like, most teachers, like, even if you do see them like traveling the whole thing, they're also still their own teachers pay teachers. They're downloading new content. They're ordering Amazon things to get their classrooms together. We get our classrooms together. Like, nobody comes and sets up the classroom for us. We buy our stuff. Like, we are the ones that are organizing it and making it look Pinterest ready or not. Those 2 months is spent doing that. Now, most times you're still doing that throughout the year, but those 2 months that you have off are times that you're still like getting things together. And then most teachers go back. They may take like 1 month off, like where they do just travel and like not do much. And then the next month is like planning, preparing, setting up your classroom, like doing like, so you really don't get 2 months off. So that's like fighting words, because in my mind, the other party is, I deal with your kids more than you do during the school year. I deserve my little 8 weeks, boo.
And we're not getting anything. We're recuperating.
Yes.
Only to go, and it goes by so fast.
It goes by the time you like get into a rhythm of being off of work, you're right back in the rhythm of now having to get back up at the crack of dawn to be somewhere. Now, granted, we don't have to be there as early as others,
not
but
as much, but
still.
For those of you who may or may not know, for context, Anna and I are business owners. We own an education and consulting business. And one of the things that we do, we have multiple programs. We tutor, we do IEP consulting, parental consulting. But one of our main programs is a micro school that has a homeschool vibe to it. And so we are educators. And so when you hear us talking about our students, talking about school teachers, we are former teachers who used to teach in the
district,
in the school district, that we're now using our credentials to teach in a private setting. So that's what we do. So just so y'all know, but those are fighting words for teachers. For me, most of my fighting words or pet peeves are centered around my family and my children.
Absolutely.
So like, I've had one person say this to me, and to this day, I just was like, why would you say that? But somebody looked at me and was talking about my youngest son, and they was like, he just wild. He wild. And I was like, it hit me, because I was like, and I don't necessarily think they meant any harm by it.
You don't say that unless you have the authority.
Right. And I'm like, but even still, like, you call my child wild. And I was just like,
as if he's the baby off the wild thornberry.
Yeah, like the, you know. Oh God. Woo. Oh, my uterus. Literally. So when I was just kind of like, what? And I couldn't even respond. Sometimes I feel bad when I'm so focused on how the other person feels that I don't defend my own self.
Man, oh my
and
gosh.
I'm like, I really should have let that person have it. But I'm like, let me be quiet. I've also, for us, with us living in the South and me being in an interracial marriage, people automatically assume gender roles with me and my husband. They assume because I'm Black, they assume that I'm bossy, I'm in charge, I'm dominant, and that he just sits and just takes it. That is, that irritates me.
It just went to be
Yeah.
My queen.
Yeah, it's like, it's not like that at all. And Annika knows because she interacts with us literally every day.
No.
But people think that and they assume that, and they'll make comments like, girl, leave that man alone. Let him do what he do. And I'd be looking at them like, what are you talking?
When did I not?
When did I not? Yeah, like, because I asked him to come here, all of a sudden I'm bothering him. And I'm like, so it's little things like that. Like, when people say stuff about my kids or whatever, even with the pregnancy, I've had people say things like, "Ooh, you sure it ain't
so
two in there? Oh, you done got so
girl,
big.
I know you tired.
Ooh,
I know you tired."
And it's like, would
Thanks.
you leave me alone?
Thank you so very much.
I feel great about myself right now. Thanks. Like, you just make me feel like a whale.
I think the other part is when you start experiencing certain parts of pregnancy before you look pregnant per se. You can't, like, everybody's pregnancy is different. And like my first pregnancy and my second pregnancy feels like two completely different events. Like, they don't even compare. And so I started I was sick. I was like, my body like aches. Like I felt like I was pregnant without even being that. Like my body was, it's almost like my body was sore from like being like, oh, it's that thing again. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to explain it, but like I did start experiencing certain pregnancy, I guess, symptoms or whatever before being that far along in my pregnancy. And so it's like, don't look at me as if it's too early for me to be experiencing stuff. First of all, especially when it's a man, like, sir, until you can bring life into the world, take several seats.
Sit down.
A stadium, actually.
But it's worse when it's women that done it. I had
if they don't understand.
One time, I'll never forget it. And it's actually, I'm not even gonna say that because it'll give it away. But I remember one time this was when I was pregnant with my oldest. Some people did know, some people didn't know that I had a fibroid tumor when I was pregnant with my oldest son. And at one point the tumor was bigger than my son. And I was having a lot of pain in the early parts of my pregnancy because of carrying, it was like almost carrying two babies at once. And I was experiencing round ligament pain really, really bad. And I remember I was walking up some steps and it was two women sitting off to the side cackling. And when they came in, it was like, girl, you acting like you far along now. You ain't nothing but 2 days pregnant. And was like laughing, cat. And that hurt my feelings because, first of all, this was my first pregnancy. And it was almost putting it out there like, oh, you just milking it. And it's like, no, I'm in pain. I have a tumor and I'm carrying a baby. And to this day, these two people have no idea how that made me feel. I never said anything. I just laughed it off and kept it moving. But I was thinking about this the other day. And like you said early on, I when Anna was pregnant, I felt for her a lot of times. And I always wanted to like let people know she was pregnant because I could see people kind of looking like, what's wrong with her? But I knew, but everybody else didn't. So I almost was like protective of that because I'm like, you don't know what people are going through.
No idea.
And like, even with me, early on in the pregnancy, I made it a point to eventually just start telling people, yes, I'm pregnant. I may not look it right now, but I'm pregnant. So if you see me doing this, doing that, we shouldn't have to justify it like that. But like, people just say some really rude, ugly things.
People should just stay out of other people's uterus.
Exactly.
Unless you were in the vagine, unless your peen was the one that allowed the vagine to then have something go into the uterus and now become life.
Right.
Keep thine comments to
thine self. And that was back to what I was saying about being an interracial couple in the South. You'll have people say some really stupid, ignorant stuff. Oh, your kids are... This the one. Oh, look at that hair. They're so pretty. Look at that skin. And I'm like, it's your skin. I feel like sometimes it's people's way of trying to say that they approve of our relationship. I don't need your approval because, baby, I'm gonna be with my husband regardless, and my kids gonna be my kids regardless. Or say things like, I actually had a black woman. To this day, my family thinks this is the funniest story. But I was in Walmart and Carson had to be like 2 or 3 months old. And I'm in Walmart. I think Cody was in school at that point. So it was just me and him. And I'm going around and she was like, oh, ma'am. And I could see, I was like, I know she about to come with something ignorant. Just the way she was looking. She was just staring at him. She was like, excuse me. I said, uh-huh. She said, like, what does he have in him? Like, and I looked at her and my first thought was breast milk, lungs, bones.
A brain. Poop.
Yeah. And I just looked at her and I was like, I mean, he's black and white if that's what you're asking. She was like, yeah, like, that's it. Like, he looks so exotic. Like, that's it. Like, I was like, I just looked at her.
Black people look very exotic as well.
I just looked at her and I just walked off because I was just like, what? I was just, my brain.
I think the part that gets me is that people automatically think that because another race came into the play, that it is going to take the baby to another level of beauty that they wouldn't have attained if they would have just been in that one race. And that to me is what aggravates me, because in my mind, I'm like, you have never seen like people from other countries then, because there are people that are stunning, you know what I mean? And it didn't matter where, I mean, literally, you can go to any part of this country in any part of the world and find people who are stunning. And then you can also see people who are mixed with things that you probably would have never even thought to come together, who are stunning. So it doesn't even matter. Like, what made you think that was like, just because of this, like now but I think also that's African American. Well, I'll say the black community. I'm not going to say African. The black community, that's some issues that we got to get past when it comes to that type of stuff.
And I mean,
that you automatically going to have good hair.
Yeah.
Because I've seen girls who are black, who are
got
my complexion, if not more darker, and their hair is just what you would consider to be good hair.
Yeah, luxurious.
Yes. And I've seen some girls who have a black mom and a white dad, and their hair is 4C like mine.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with 4C, but I'm just saying that their hair don't curl up when the water hit it.
No.
You know what I mean? It mats up, and you got to detangle it. You better have some good conditioner, boo.
And another thing, I'm sorry, it's all coming to me. Stuff that irritates me is
I forgot most of mine, so
but it's okay. It's gonna come to you. When people, I think we got a lot of the same pet peeves and fighting words. When people ask questions about what you have on, like, "Ooh, where the rest of your clothes at?" Or, "Ooh, what made you put that together?" You know, stuff like that. Or this is the one. Instead of complimenting, you just say stuff like, "Oh, okay, you think you cute, don't you?" Yes, I do actually. I actually put thought into this outfit today. Thank you.
You think you cute.
It's like, just say you look cute. Oh, you're cute for a dark skin.
And on that note, I'm going to excuse myself.
See, that's the stuff right there. That's the stuff right there that will, and because Anna and I are literally the same complexion, we often talk about this, literally the same complexion. We often talk about this, like, having people say stuff like, or being brown skin, that is a pet peeve. Or she pretty for a big girl.
Her face would most likely still look like that, even if she wasn't a big girl. And I guess for me, I think sometimes just say that the person looks nice. Just say they did a good job on their makeup. Just say that their outfit is cute. Because one thing that I can say with most women, if you say, "Oh, girl, I love your dress," be like, "Oh, yes, girl, thank you, Kato," or "Yes, girl, this is Walmart." Like, we'll tell you, like, it's not a problem. And if you're jealous, like, just don't say anything at all, because it really, it's almost worse that you're like, "Oh, you think you cute," and it's like, "Yes, I do actually, thanks." And you are too. Like, you know,
what's that black sweatshirt I have? I can't remember. It says, I never said, or it's like, no, hun, you're smaller than me, not prettier. Or something like that. I have a sweatshirt that says that. And my friend made it for me because you know that sweatshirt that I have? It's black and it's off shoulder.
I don't know if I've seen it.
I used to wear it all the time. It's black and off shoulder. And Jabria made it for me. I saw it online and I wasn't going to pay $80 for it. So I just got her to make it for me. And it says, no, hun, or no, sweetie, you're pretty, you're smaller than me, not prettier, or something like that. It's like, that's not the point. And I've had several people like, I love your sweatshirt. Like, where did you get that from? It's an original. But I remember it, like, because people do, like, just stupid stuff like that. It's like, really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, that's the kind of stuff that grinds my gears. Like, I don't like that.
I think we can, as people, can be just a lot nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And I chuckle because at my daughter, because there are things that she does that just she's a mess, but she really is a sweetheart. Like, she really is. I think people automatically think that she's like feisty and bossy and stuff like that because she's more outspoken, and her face will tell you everything you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's been like that since an infant. So there's that. But even in the store, like, there was a lady, it was after church on a Sunday. There was a lady, you could clearly see she had been painting at her house. Like, she had paint all over her clothes. And I mean, she wasn't put together per se, in that, like, you could tell she just ran to the store to go get some stuff. And we were coming down the aisle and she just said, "You're so beautiful. I love your shirt. It's just so beautiful." And I just was like, oh, the innocence of a child. Because in my mind, I don't think I would have thought to say that to her, because you think to say that to someone that looks like they tried or put themselves together. And it's not that the woman wasn't. I just wouldn't have thought to say that. I would have thought to ask, "Oh, what are you painting?" Or, "Oh, that's a nice shade of yellow," because the paint all over her was yellow and it actually was a nice shade. But you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't have thought to say, "Oh, you're so beautiful." I would have just been like, "Oh, like, what are you painting?" or something like that. But I just was like, man, the sweetness and the innocence of a child to just look past the superficial stuff. And like, it was almost like she knew that woman needed to hear that, you know, just stuff like that. That I'm like, man, we could learn so much from children. We could learn so much from them as a society. I haven't really had, I don't know if I've just blocked it out of my memory, which is probably the case. Most of my pet peeves or like fighting words were things that were slightly more like, I wouldn't say traumatic, but more traumatic than like, I was called like a dumb blonde. I was called ditzy, stuff like that. That now, if anyone challenges my intelligence, like on the inside, I am like the red panda. Like, I am literally infuriated if someone questions my intelligence because of that. And then when I was dating my husband, I had someone who, which at the time I thought it was like kind of funny, but later on when other things came out, I realized that what she was saying was not coming from a funny place. Like, she really was just a nasty human being, and she still is. But you can tell I need healing from that situation. But anyways, I'll heal eventually. But but she used to always ask me, "Is everything going his way?" And at first I thought it was just her being protective of him, because he was the baby, like he was, you know, whatever. So people were very protective of him that were in the family and like not blood, but like part of the family. And so when she would ask me that, I thought it was more so her I'm just checking on my baby. Like, is he, but it was more so, eventually I realized that she just didn't think that I was right for him. So she would question me as if, like, she was trying to make sure that he was getting his way. And then my other thought was, if I tell you no, what are you going to do?
Right. Why are you asking me that?
Like, why does it matter whether he's getting his way or not?
Mm-hmm.
And his way is not always the right way. And mine ain't either. Yeah. So why does it matter?
Why does it matter?
Stuff like that, I think, is where most of my like pet peeve or like fighting word stuff. I've had some people make comments about my children, but I don't think it was anything that was ever to that degree. It was more so people speaking about my daughter and trying to paint her as like this rude, bossy, know-it-all, mouthy little girl. And I'm like, she's actually very sweet. Does she speak her mind? Yes. Do I have to remind her sometime who is the mama? Yes. Mm-hmm. But it's not that she doesn't think that I'm the mama. It's that she really feels like what she has to say is important. And she is going to say it. And I'm like, congratulations for using your voice. Now go back to your room and finish drinking your juice box like I asked you to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to, but...
She's a sweetheart. She's just outspoken. And there's nothing wrong with that. But... and it's your job as a mom, no one else's. It's your job and your husband's job as mom and daddy and your village and even to a certain extent the village, because hold on now,
not everybody,
but not everybody, but those who you're comfortable with, to help shape that
into a place that's healthy and doesn't become a place
appropriate for her. But like, yeah, because like the comment about my child being wild, or they just do what they want to do, or whatever the case may be. Like, people say things, and it's like, did you think about that before you said that? Like, why would you to comment? That's a pet peeve as a whole, commenting on other people's children.
Yes.
Or this is one that gets me up, when you try to correct my child when I'm standing right there. Now, here's the differences. Like today, your back was turned. Victoria was on the table. I told her to get down. I'm not going to be offended by thank you, because I didn't catch that.
Please,
but if my child is in my presence and they're saying something and you button in while I'm trying to correct, I got it.
Oh,
I got it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it depends.
Because it depends on the person and what their intentions are.
And the situation, yes.
Because, for example, we've co-parented our children together. Like, if my child is standing here and having a meltdown, and you can see that I'm getting irritated, you might step in, okay, Cody, just come over here, baby. Or vice versa. If Matthew's having a moment, I may just grab Matthew and take him. That's different. But when you are trying to, or you try to correct me as a parent in front of my child, well, don't tell him that, because pause. But put the finger over the lip. I got this. Because some people's intentions are not.
There are very few people, because there are a few people who have said things about my daughter. It was like, oh, I know she be trying to run things and stuff like that. And I'm not offended when they say it, because we have a relationship enough to where if I wanted to call them and talk to them about that in depth, it's fine if they say little things about, and I just be like, yeah, she be trying to run stuff, but it's the people that don't have that type of relationship with you and your children,
like, you don't even have the jurisdiction to talk to me about that. So just
but I've tried to really kind of shield them from certain things like that because of that. I think I probably am more aggravated probably with my own family than with outside people. And it's not a bad aggravation. I just feel like, I noticed it more with my family than with others. But I mean, I think the only time that becomes an issue is the difference between how I parent and how my parents would have parented. Now, the way they parent my children is completely different than how they parented me. Grandparents.
Softies.
Yes. But there's moments where they would have like popped where they would have disciplined them in a more physical way than I would have. And so in those moments, I can almost feel the side eye like, girl, you don't, time, you know what I mean? But that's really it. Like, I don't know. I don't know if either God is shielding me from it or if I really am not paying attention. I don't know. I think I'm more aware of how other children are with my children than adults, if that makes sense. Like, I watch how other children are, and I'm more offended with other children and how they interact with my children than adults, which is like, I don't know. I don't like that.
I get offended with everybody. children, adults, because I just be like,
I just don't have as many. I don't have as many interactions with random adults or something saying things to my children. I have had more experiences with seeing children mistreat or be rude or mean to my children, and that's the moment where I have to be
and
like,
I get upset about that.
That's not my child. But if she ignore my daughter one more time,
yeah, I'd be like, all right.
I had to watch myself. We were at the park one time and these little girls were being so nasty to her. And I had to watch myself because she was like, Mommy, I just want to play with them and they're not playing with me. And in my mind, I was like, nobody want to play with them little nasty, raggedy kids anyway. It's like, that's what I was thinking.
Had experiences
but I had to stop myself from saying that to her because I was just like, in my mind, I wanted to like kind of come to her defense like, sis, don't be worrying about them. They ain't cute no way. Your shirt look better than them anyway. Yes. It's like,
I had a little, when CJ was like 2, I forget, I took him to like Chick-fil-A and he was playing in the little play area and he was just trying to play with the other kids and the little girl was like, stop following me. I said, CJ, come on here. Come on. Girl was so mad. My nose had spread. I said, come on. Because I was getting ready. Because I'm like, I don't like stuff like that. Because as a child, I used to get kids used to be mean to me like that. And I'm very protective of Carson because he's so friendly. CJ is reserved now. When he was younger, he was a little bit, now he's reserved. So he ain't fooling with nobody anyway. You got to talk to him first. Carson talks to everybody. And so when people ignore him or act funny, he don't care. He's like, hey, I'm talking to you. I'm like, Carson, good. He asked the little boy, are you going to move or what? Like, what are you doing? But, you know, that's how he is. But I have to be protective of that too. You know, like, okay, you know, and I've had those experiences too, where I'm just kind of like, let me go ahead because what we're not going to do. And like Carson, there was one little boy at the playground in our neighborhood. When his friends would be at the park, he would ignore them. But when they weren't there, all of a sudden I said, y'all, don't talk to that little boy. His name's Steven. I said, don't talk to Steven. Because Steven acting funny. I said, he want to talk to y'all when they not there. Don't fool him. Carson was like, Steven. He was just ignoring him. I said, hey, come here. I said, don't talk to Steven no more. Don't worry about Steven. And Cody be like, babe. I'm like, no, you're not doing that. We're not doing that. And then this happened the other day. We took the boys to Chick-fil-A and we went letting them play in a little play area. And it was a little boy. And y'all know I'm pregnant and hormonal. So I really don't care what comes out my mouth at this point. I have to watch myself. There's a little boy just sitting on the slide. Now, Cody had come down. And he was just sitting there, and the little boy was sitting at the opening. So the little boy had already come down the slide and was just sitting there. And so CJ sat there for a little bit, and the little boy was just sitting there. And CJ was like, I said, CJ, say, excuse me. And CJ was like, excuse me. And the little boy didn't move. He was just sitting there. And CJ was like, excuse me. And he turned around and looked at him, and he said, I said, excuse me, baby, get on up. I said, go ahead, baby, move. What did I say? I think I said, excuse me, baby. My voice, I felt myself. I said, he's trying to get off. Come on. And he looked and was like, who that black lady is that? You don't know, his grandma was sitting over there too, and I didn't care. Because you see your grandson sitting right here blocking the slot. Get your son and move. That's what I want to say. Move. You see my son, he bigger than, there was a younger boy too. And he delivered like he thought it was funny. And I'm like, move. You trap my baby in the slide like that. COVID and stuff. He all in close quarters with you. Your nose running and stuff. Move. Damn. Girl, I was so mad. After that, I said, babe, it's time to go. Cody was like, I said, babe. Cody was like, I saw that. I picked that.
I definitely have had to watch myself. I have to tell them, like, everyone does not have to speak to you. Everyone's not going to be kind.
Yep.
So you just have to show kindness, but if they don't have to show it back to you, you know? And even though in my mind, I'm like, just elbow. Like, I'm trying to understand why we still
get out the room.
But that's...
And my last, because I have so many pet peeves, and One pet peeve is smacking. I do not like smacking. Do not
I
smack
was about to
next to me.
definitely.
I hate smacking and mouth noises, period.
I can't stand it.
Bad breath offends me to the core. If I have it, I will apologize ahead of time. Like, I'm so sorry, I got my breath stink. That pisses me off. I hate it. Body odor, all of that. But I was going to talk about this and we can end it because this could be a whole nother conversation. Some of my biggest pet peeves and fighting words happen with social media. One of my biggest things that irritate me on social media is people that feel like they have to comment or have to put their 2 cents in on everything. For example, if there's a video, a simple video of a family or something, and you don't like the content, you make it a point to go and say, I don't like this. You just wasted your energy doing that. Like, it's so much stuff that I see that I do not like, and I just scroll past it. But you took the time to stop on that post
because
and comment.
They don't have anything but time.
And as a content creator, entitled. I'm on the. I hate it. I hate seeing it as just someone who's consuming content. But then as a content creator, when you sit and you hear when people get on there and say stupid stuff on a family post, like, or just a post in general, something that's clearly a joke, people say this has to be a joke. This has to be a skit. This isn't real life. Yes. No, duh. It says comedy sketch. What about that did you not understand?
The like that's sketch part. It was definitely the comedy sketch part.
I had a lady, I went back and forth. I had time this one morning. This lady, I was going back and forth with her. She got onto our family post, me and Cody. And Cody and I were talking about, we were being transparent about something in our marriage. And she got on there and was like, you don't need to be telling everything. She just, every time she would comment, it was always something very negative. Like, I remember one time she commented, it was like, why do y'all talk to your youngest son like that as if he's still a baby, you know? She would just always say stuff. So sometimes I let people say what they say and I say, hey, you know, I get it. You know, I respect that, whatever. And I keep it moving. But this particular morning, I think I was like 3 months pregnant. I was hormonal. I was aggravated, irritable. And so I was going back and forth with homegirl because I was like, first of all, but she was just going in. Eventually, I just blocked her. And my friend got on there, was going in on her too. Eventually, I just blocked her. But like, this lady got on there and just going in about what we should be talking about on our channel. Ma'am, if you don't like the content, remove yourself.
Or talk about it on yours.
Talk about it on your channel. But guess what? You ain't got no channel. Okay. So leave it alone. Like, if it's something that's bothering some, when I have content creators that I follow, that I love, and when they start shifting and doing stuff I don't like, you know what I do? I either stop watching their content. I have unfollowed so many people on Instagram. I've unfollowed people. I don't watch people on YouTube no more because I'm like, this wasn't given what it gave before. But I don't have to go on there and comment and be rude and nasty about it. But people do a lot behind that keyboard, though.
Get the keyboard courage.
People do a lot behind that keyboard, and I'm the Lord's still working on me. I ain't never been a fighter, but I will throw hands if need be. That ain't nothing I'm afraid of. You doing all that talking. See, baby, it's only so much of that I'm gonna do. Then I have to lay hands on you, especially when it comes to my kids and people I love and I care about, because I don't play about that. You have
to be very careful. You have to be very careful, especially now too, in like the times that we live in, because let's be honest, like, mental health is something that is not just heavily talked about, but people deal with it in a way that they haven't dealt with it before, are more aware and open of dealing with it. So sometimes that comment, you never know who you could be saying that comment to. You never know how that could affect them. The one comment that
tipped them over the edge.
Yes. You just never know, like, what that could do, because words have so much power. And I think it's very important that the words that you use, if they're not going to be uplifting, save it with a girlfriend or whomever. save your negativity for a space that does not negatively affect that person. But also, too, if you find yourself always having something negative to say in those situations or about this person or whatever, you probably need to check yourself and not the person. You know what I'm saying?
And you
If
may
it's
need to
constant-
unfollow them if
Yeah.
it's bothering you that bad.
If you feel like you just cannot scroll past this without saying something, that sounds like a conversation for a therapist, not a comment on an Instagram, Facebook, or
of somebody
YouTube
you don't
account.
even know.
Of someone that literally y'all do not affect each other's lives in any way.
What people don't realize is you really are helping the content creator by doing that, the engagement, but it still affects us. Like if I get on there and I see somebody comments on how big I am compared to my husband, or why she with him. You know, the people have said ugly things about Cody. How he get her. And you know, Cody usually just lets stuff roll off his back, but eventually that gets to people. You know? So anyway, we could go on and on and on about the pet peeves and fighting words. And I know for sure once this camera cut off, we're gonna be like, I could have said this, this, and this. But comment below. Let us know some of your pet peeves, some of your fighting words. As you can see, ours is centered around our children and our family. It's just where we are in life.
Because after a while, other things don't matter.
Yeah, like whatever. You can say whatever you want to say about me. You can call me big, call me ugly, whatever. Because I know I'm big. I'm not ugly, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like it don't matter. But it's like you start talking about my kids, my husband,
my children,
my mama. You know what I'm saying? I'd be ready to fight.
Because that's my boo.
Right.
Talk about him.
You're not going to talk about him.
He's fine, and I'm going to stick beside him.
I'm going to stick beside him. And you're not going to talk about him. You're not going to say nothing about him. I can talk about him, but you can't. I call him raggedy, but you can't. You bet not. That's all I'm going to say. And he is being raggedy right now because he's supposed to be the cameraman. He's literally behind the camera asleep, taking a nap. He was like, everything good? Sound good? Mic good? He's literally knocked out. And now he's finna say something. Look at him. Raggedy. Don't take the headphones off. Anyway. We love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us today here at the You're Not Crazy podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. We love you guys. And we'll see y'all in the next video.